Welcome to the Fulcrum of Perception. In this session, we examine how every decision rests on a single pivot in the mind. Drawing on A Course in Miracles, we will explore free will, the split between ego and spirit, and how an undivided mind becomes the basis for consistent peace. This diagram introduces the power of decision. The mind appears split between ego and Holy Spirit. Choosing the ego generates a dream of guilt, fear, and separation. Choosing the Holy Spirit generates peace and shared love. Our focus is to understand this inner choice point and how to use it wisely. Here we see the anatomy of the split mind. The mind itself remains limitless, yet its focus fractures into ego and spirit. At the exact point of separation sits the observer, the power of decision. Our work is to recognize ourselves as this observer and consciously realign with the undivided will. The mind runs on two incompatible thought systems. The ego is rooted in fear, projection, scarcity, and conflict. The Holy Spirit is rooted in love, extension, abundance, and healing. Because these systems are irreconcilable, partial allegiance is impossible. Every moment we are choosing one or the other. The ego's engine is a closed loop of sin, guilt, and fear. Believing separation is real creates the idea of sin. Sin generates guilt, which then anticipates punishment as fear. That fear drives us back to the belief in sin. This cycle keeps attention away from the present, where healing actually occurs. Projection and extension are opposite uses of the mind. In projection, inner guilt is pushed onto others, who become shadow figures from our past. In extension, inner peace is shared, and we recognize our brother as part of the kingdom. What we extend or project becomes the reality we seem to live in. Sin and error represent two interpretations of the same event. The ego calls it sin, irreversible and deserving punishment. The spirit calls it error, a correctable mistake that never altered reality. When we adopt the Spirit's verdict, we move from condemnation to learning and open the door to genuine correction. Obstacles to peace arise from guilt. First, the mind secretly fears peace because peace seems to dissolve the separate self. Second, we idolize the body, using it as a barrier that keeps minds apart. The question is whether we will let these small, imagined barriers stand between us and real connection. The holy instant suspends time by withdrawing investment from past guilt and future fear. When judgment is paused, the present moment becomes a clear window into reality, a miniature of eternity. Practically, this means training the mind to release grievances and anxieties, even briefly, to experience timeless peace. True forgiveness is a shift in perception. Step 1 is overlooking the illusion, recognizing that what the ego calls sin is not ultimately real. Step 2 is healing the healer. As we see innocence in another, we remember it in ourselves. Because minds are joined, every act of forgiveness is self-healing. The circle of atonement symbolizes inclusive healing. Each interaction asks, will I keep this person inside the circle of innocence or place them outside through judgment? There is no partial salvation. Excluding anyone means excluding ourselves. Holiness is recognized only when it is shared without exception. The ultimate choice is whose guidance we follow. The ego demands constant defense and preserves guilt. The Holy Spirit invites us to relinquish the ego and reason with God, where safety lies in defenselessness and love. Every decision is a judgment that shapes our experience until we choose again. Choice is not between two equal powers. Initially, we treat ego and spirit as competing options, but the ego is only a shadow, an error of perception. In reality, we choose between illusion and what alone is real. Understanding this asymmetry weakens the ego's appeal and clarifies our commitment to truth. The undivided will of the sonship is the end state of this journey. We discover there was never a real battle with the ego. As the power of decision aligns wholly with God, the split mind heals. The will becomes free, creative, and unlimited, reflecting the nature of its source. The final vision reframes the power of decision as the power to stop resisting peace. When we accept that nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists, conflict loses its foundation. This recognition is not abstract theology, it is the practical doorway into the enduring peace of God.